And so I encourage men, fathers, uh, we need to be the first example. We need to lead by example. So yes, you want to encourage your kids, you want to do these things, but you're still living. You still have a dream. Yes, we're doing things for our children. One of the best things I believe we could do for our children is to live our dreams. That is one of the best things we can do, because that opens up a door and it allows them to go after. And then also, when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to work ethic, when it comes to making things a priority, you teach by example.
Welcome to Dad Puzzles, Everything Dad. If you're questioning yourself about dad functions, duties, and life in general, you've come to the right place. Parenthood can be tough. Learning to juggle caring for your baby with your career and also keeping things fresh with your partner can be a struggle. But we're here to make things easier with helpful tips for making the most of your situation. Being a dad may seem like a puzzle, but it's one you can definitely solve. Now here's your host, Dr. Suleiman Ijani.
Hello, welcome to Dad Puzzles podcast. You are listening to episode number 2 with our first special guest, Dr. Clarence Lee Jr. Dr. Lee is a physician entrepreneur, nationally celebrated author, international speaker, and the president and CEO of Exode Health, whose vision is to change everything about healthcare. A former student athlete, Dr. Lee holds a degree in biology from University of the Internet World and degrees in medicine and business from Drexel University. Also a decorated war veteran, Dr. Lee served in the United States Air Force for 10 years with several assignments, his last being a flight surgeon flying the T-38 and U-2 airframes in one of the most elite squadrons in the United States Air Force. Dr. Lee is the author of the inspirational memoir, Well, My Mom Says, as well as his latest book, Persist, Persist. He is a columnist for several publications, and his work has been featured in Live Happy magazine, Black Fitness Today, and Essence magazine, to name a few. He regularly appears as an on-air TV health expert and has been featured in segments on ABC, CBS, and Fox television stations. Recently, Dr. Lee was named Top 40 Under 40 by the Sacramento Business Journal and Drexel University. He has been highlighted as one of the top healthcare entrepreneurs to know by Baker's Hospital Review, one of the top black entrepreneurs to follow by Yahoo Finance, and is also a recent recipient of the Black Enterprise Modern Man Award. Dr. Lee is a devoted husband and father and lives in Southern California and loves spending time with his wife and 5 children. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Dr. Lee. Please welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on and add some value to the dads.
I am humbled and honored to have you, sir. What is your view of fatherhood?
Yeah, so I think something that's germane to this conversation is I didn't grow up with my dad. So my parents divorced when I was 5, and I felt a lot of pain growing up that my dad wasn't around. I had a stepdad that came into my life when I was about 9 or 10, and he um, made a massive impact in my life. Um, but my view of fatherhood and my idea of what a dad was supposed to be was really shaped by the fact that I didn't have my dad around a lot when I was younger. So my motivations for pretty much the majority of what I do, my intentions in business, are really to be able to leave a legacy for my children. So instead of only being, I say only, but instead of just stopping at an employment, having an employer, I desire to be able to pass on something to my children, and that's the main reason why I went into entrepreneurship. I left my job to start my own organization. Um, I desire to be present, so being an entrepreneur also allows me flexibility of my schedule so that I can make priorities a priority. And so I don't necessarily have to ask for time off to go and see my son's soccer game or football game. I just put it on the calendar and I'm there. Um, so the fact that I did not have my dad when I was younger is really driven me to create the things that I have created and to also to be a success, to be something, because I wanted, my children want to be proud that I was their dad, but to also um, be able to give them something and to allow them a life that was different than my life. And so, growing up with a single mom, I didn't really grow up with a lot, and many times. When my parents were together, and then I'll finish up with this, but when my parents were together, we had a traditional family. My dad worked, my mom didn't work. And I remember when my parents were together, I had toys, clothes. My dad would buy me gold chains, and I just had so many things. And let me tell you, when my parents divorced, when my dad left, we lost everything. And so, in my mind, that livelihood and that lifestyle was equated to my father being around. And so, really growing up, I have to start with that story because that's really what made me into who I am, and which has given me the motivation and the intention and the drive, was really from what I went through growing up and not having my dad.
So, at what age did your parents divorce?
Five. I was five. I was 5 years old. Yeah.
Okay. Can you share about your stepdad?
Yeah, so in my first book, the title of my first book is Well, My Mom Says. I actually, that entire book is about my mom, but I dedicate one chapter to my stepdad, to this man. His name was Willie. He's still around. I just literally talked to him a couple days ago. We're still really, really close. But one of the things that I learned from him and was to believe in myself, and I just never had a male spend so much time with me. He, man, I don't even want to get emotional talking about this guy, but he, I wasn't his kid, but he spent a lot of time with me, and that time he spent, um, it built something in me, and I didn't know I had it until he showed me it was in me. And so, when I talk about dads and I talk about this, man, I'm telling you, the impact that you have is it's unbelievable. And so for him, um, he changed my life. And it was really just spending time with me. He didn't know me anything. He was interested in my mom. You know what I mean? Like I just came with the package. But I know the power of time. I know the power of encouragement. I know the power of seeding into somebody. And you might just think, hey, yeah, I'm gonna go and throw the baseball with them. But I never had anybody do that with me. Massive, massive. And so yeah, just little things like that, and spending time with me, encouraging me, teaching me how to play sports. Just from that sports foundation just built so much inside of me, and I took that and I took it and I ran with it, brother. But yeah, he was an amazing man, and he is an amazing man, and he changed my life.
What advice do you give to dads? What kind of advice would you like to share with dads?
I know for me, um, I I had people in my life that as I was growing up that told me I can do anything. You know, they told me, hey, you can do whatever you want to do with your life. Uh, you know, you can do this, you can do that. But I didn't see them doing it. So it's one thing for you to tell a kid, but if you're not an example of it, then that led me to ask, why aren't you living your dream? Okay, so you're telling me I can live my dream. You're telling me I can do this stuff. You're telling me I can do it. I want to see somebody that's doing it. And so, you know, I decided at one point, and I just encourage men, I decided at one point that, you know what? I'm going to be the first example to my children of living your dream. So you're not going to have to go and read a book. You're not going to have to go and watch a movie. You're going to get to see right in your house somebody living their dream. So when I turn around and I tell my daughter, sweetheart, you can do whatever you want. You can live your dream, what you want to do. What is your dream? You can make that happen. She believes it because she's watching me do it. And so I encourage men, fathers, uh, we need to be the first example. We need to lead by example. So yes, you want to encourage your kids, you want to do these things, but you're still living. You still have a dream. Yes, we're doing things for our children. One of the best things I believe we could do for our children is to live our dreams. That is one of the best things we can do because that opens up a door and it allows them to go after. And then also, when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to work ethic, when it comes to making things a priority, you teach by example. You can talk about it, but them watching my kids watching me close my business to go and do something with them. They watch me do that. And so in their minds, this is what's expected, right? Because they're watching that. And so and so when I talk to my kids, um, I own my company. So they talk about um, organizing a business, having employees, uh, payroll. They talk about that stuff, and so they get to see it, and they also get to talk about it. And it's kind of a part of their life, you know. So I encourage guys, I encourage men specifically, and I believe we owe it, and I challenge men go out there and live your dreams because you're showing your children that it's possible. You're not just telling them, you're showing them that you have what it takes. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be ups and downs, but your kids need to see that too. It's not smooth sailing. It's not top of the top all the time. They need to see that as well. And so show them.
They might not get it at young age, but as they grow and they get to understand the concept of employer and employee, then they will come to appreciate what dad has been going through to make it happen for them.
Absolutely. I think my younger ones might not completely get it. My 6 year old might not. My 8 year old, I think he does. But absolutely, my 16-year old does. She will tell you. She tells people she noticed the difference. Um, and you're also showing your children that they are a priority. What they want to do is a big deal to you. They matter. And so there's so many layers to it. There's so many layers to it. And I'm not saying everybody needs to be an entrepreneur or whatever. I'm saying be true to your dream, be true to what you want to do. If you're doing what you want to do, great. And whatever that is. Um, but it was my vision to be an entrepreneur and work for myself, and so you owe it to you. So I tell men, fathers, you owe it to you, and you also owe it to your family to leave a legacy for your children's children. I believe that in my heart of hearts. I'm a Christian, so you know I read the Bible, and one of the verses from the Bible is, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children." And so I'm trying to be a good man. Hmm.
Mothers are very important. I know. Actually, in Islam, they say that heaven is underneath the feet of of our mothers. So no, absolutely, mothers are very important.
Oh, I'll run through a I'll run through a brick wall for my mom. There's not a person that's gonna get to my mom. I mean, she was everything. You know what I mean? And so I tell young guys that when I grew up with just her most of the time, and man, I'll do anything for my mom. I'll do anything for my mom. And I honor her. I honor her, and she knows that I have her. You know, anything going on with my mom, it's I think that is understood, but yeah, she's mothers are amazing.
So, what are your best ideas for the best dad?
Um, I'll tell you what makes me feel the best, and that is just having fun. You know, I think we as men, and my wife has to remind me of this, and I'm not like awesome at this all the time, but the times that make me feel the best is when I'm having fun. And, you know, I've got a prior military background. I've been deployed. I grew up in kind of crazy areas sometimes. I didn't really have a lot. And so, you know, sometimes when I'm out with my family, I go into protector mode. And so, you know, I've got my wife, I got my 5 kids, I'm responsible. I'm like, God, not on my watch. Like nothing about to happen to my family. I'm on head on a swivel. I'm like, this dude's walk. And so, I have to remind myself, you know, just to have fun. I've placed my kids in a place that is safe and to have fun. But those are the times I would just encourage fathers, just have fun. I mean, there's a place to obviously to teach and instruct and discipline, and all those things have their place. But many times we will sacrifice the fun. I can tell from my own personal experience. I had to remind myself, hey, just have some fun, man. This doesn't have to be like tight. We got to get back. Let's get, just have a good time. So from where I'm at right now, that's the number one thing I would tell fathers is just have fun. The kids already want to have fun. That's on autopilot for them. We have to remind ourselves, relax, have a good time, chill out. So, that's what I would tell dads is yes, our role is important, but also our kids want to have fun with us.
Actually, when you have more than one kid, you definitely have to be busier entertaining them at their different levels. Stopping the fights. It's just when you're spending time with them, is there's no boredom. There's no boredom.
That's absolutely true. And many times it's meeting them where they're at. So all of my kids do different things for fun. One of my sons likes to throw the football or baseball around. Another one of my sons likes to play games. My daughter likes to go to breakfast and eat. So it's whatever that kid needs, just meet them where they're at and have fun how they have fun.
So what are the exciting times or the fondest memories of your dad you have? What would you like to share about that?
Yeah. And with my dad has a very easygoing mannerism about him. He's always smiling. He loves children. So if you see him now, he's this smiling, always having kind of a good time type of guy. And so I remember growing up, getting to spend time with him. That's what I remember the most is having fun. And that's probably why I talk about having fun with my kids because that's what I remember was the most exciting time with my dad was having fun. And so, but yeah, my dad was always kind of smiling, always kind of made when we did get to hang out, always kind of made space for the children, always kind of made light and had fun. And so those are some of the most memorable times were just when we were just hanging out, having fun.
Thank you, Dr. Lee, for spending the time with me. I truly appreciate you, sharing your wisdom, and I look forward to speaking with you again at some point again. You're welcome to come back.
Oh, absolutely. Had a great time. Appreciate you having me. You too. Take care now. Bye bye.
Thank you. That was a great chat with Dr. Lee. He always shares his wisdom on LinkedIn. If you happen to connect with him, you will see that he's very active with encouraging folks about entrepreneurship and activity. So I was very lucky to have him as my very first guest. So please don't forget to subscribe and share the link in terms of the YouTube, and share this podcast with your friends so we can have more listeners. And go to the website as well and provide your information there so we can update you with any other postings we have online that is outside the podcast. Please feel free to comment on what we spoke about, and I'll be very happy to address some of your likes or concerns. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Dad Puzzles. We hope you learned something from today's podcast. Please leave us a review and give us a thumbs up.